afternoon, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. How's everybody this morning?
Stunning.
Christos, Sebastian.
Stunning.
Amazing.
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 Yeah, exactly. We're here, right? Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everything goes well. Nice weather outside.
It is a nice
Summer
weather.
is summer is coming.
I can smell the summer
Build
in the air. You know?
it's conference season, so it's
Damn.
crazy. So everything
Crazy
goes
fun.
Oh yeah.
I think we need to arrange. We have a learn module that we're doing for build, and we need to find the time. I think that the only convenient one was like 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time. Although we'll work it out.
That's
We'll work it
decent.
out. We have to prep
That's
for it.
decent.
It's crazy stuff, right? It is the conference season. I hope everyone's excited about build. If you haven't registered yet, make sure you go and register. It's free. It's gonna be virtual over 3 days. 25th to 27th of May. So much fun.
So much content, like all over the place. If you care about code, you just cannot miss it.
Yeah, you know, it's the biggest developer conference at Microsoft, right? It's the most exciting time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we have the graph team. Sebastian, thanks for coming back again. Once again, it's lovely to have you here. And I
more
see
than
you're
welcome.
flying solo today.
Yes.
Brian abandoned you.
I wouldn't say he abandoned me. I think he has
More interesting
like
stuff to do.
exactly. We were just talking about build. So there's some last minute edits on some of Brian's videos and demos he's doing. So I told him I can fly solo on that one, and then you might take the next one. That's okay. That's definitely okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, we're super excited to have you here again and hear about all the new stuff that the graph team has to bring to us. So you've been busy the last couple of weeks, right?
That has been crazy. And usually, a lot of products are going like no sound, no image for a couple of months before a build event. We did exactly the opposite. So there's a ton of announcements of stuff being pushed to GA or a bunch of different things happening. So I'm gonna cover that today and a couple of cool stuff that have popped here and there from the community and these kind of things.
Well, we're dying to find out.
Let's do it. I am ready. I'm always ready. The first one that I wanted to kind of quickly chat about is we are at Microsoft moving from some of the user voice sites we had before to some of the ones, a platform that is built in. So if you have any request, if you have any idea on how you want to utilize Graph, on how you want to expand the scope of Graph, you want to integrate any new workloads or whatsoever, we now have a brand new feature request experience for Graph and the entire Office platform, which is called the Microsoft 365 Developer Platform Ideas. So it is a space on the tech communities. Let me show you that right now, where you can, like on any other platform, you can go in, upvote, downvote, add ideas, top-like idea. It's really interesting because basically the same top-liked ideas that were in user voice are now also the top-liked ideas here in the in there. It's kind of a very it's clear.
It's like somebody thought, if we move them, let's see if they still want it.
Well, that's what we thought. We're like, that's the best way to get rid of our top requests. But
clean slate. Oh, damn.
We're gonna reset the request queue.
Doesn't work. So now we're here, aka.ms/m365. I'm gonna put that here. What's m365 dev-suggestions. I'm gonna copy that and make sure you guys get that.
Yes, please.
Put it in the chat here.
That's pretty long.
It is a long one. Let's see if it's gonna change M365 dev ideas or something like that. I don't know, but that's what we have right now. So that's a short link that is not short. but it's definitely shorter than this one.
You know how you're gonna solve your problems about long links?
No.
QR codes.
Oh,
That's what
we
you need.
should do that. You know that there is. Wait a second. Where is this? I said that there's a feature now in Edge where you can actually QR code any link. Where
This is
that?
a feature that I've
there you
been
go.
waiting for
Create
all my life. There you go.
There you go.
Yes. Right. I you know what? That was my submission. I said to the Edge team, we need one of these. Absolutely.
You know how this happened? I think there was an Edge PM watching our show a couple of months ago. He's like, I know what I'm gonna do that.
That's how we build products at Microsoft these days. They watch the streams and then like that's a good idea. Maybe we should implement that.
It's stream-based development.
Yes.
Yes.
Stream-driven development.
Stream-driven
development.
SDD. So, if you have any requests or whatsoever, feel free to jump in here, add your own. We're going to also bring some of the stuff that was in user voice. Wanted to make sure you have an area where you can submit your ideas. So go there. Some of the older ideas from user voice will also be migrated at some point on that platform.
And since we have you here and you take new requests,
we
need to make Graph Explorer to work with B2C. So next time you come here.
There's okay. Next time I'm
you're here. I want you to demo this.
You know that Graph Explorer is open source, right?
It is. Yes.
So
is it?
It is. I invite you to go in and actually do it. Yeah, it is absolutely open source. Graph Explorer V4.
JP, did you know that? Do you know that? It's,
I have a fork of it because every time I run it, I end up in this little tiny window. So we've got this huge screen, and then here's Graph Explorer, and it's like it takes up a third of the page, and it's like. So I made a fork that was full screen. So
look at that.
You fork and you add the B2C, and then I'm gonna highlight you in my next.
I mean,
the next time I come in.
It'll work with B2C. It just requires some work. We'll say.
Hoops.
Yeah.
Hoops.
I definitely agree. I think there was a lot of focus on the M365 side of the house, but I agree that B2C should be a little bit more convenient.
We're gonna do it today.
Yeah,
because Christos is gonna go do a bunch of. He's got to do a bunch of B2C work, so he's gonna be out there today doing it. So we're gonna go do some JavaScript hacking to force the right sign-in URL.
Yeah.
Well.
I wish I had circus music queued up, but we don't.
So that was drums, so we can play
exactly. I'm gonna jump over there. So that was the first thing I wanted to kind of quickly touch on, and that really includes like any areas of graph. So feel free to go on and do some of that. Then afterwards, a couple of really cool new APIs that came up on Graph. The first one is on the EDU side. So there's the Graph, and there's also a full EDU segment on Graph, which is focused on the Microsoft Teams education specific templates that exist over there. And now we are supporting application permissions for the assignments API. So if you want to turn in assignments, request assignments from students, everything now available. Right there. It's a super detailed API. It's great. We had a really cool demo last week, and this is just stunning. So if you're working in the EDU space, definitely application permission support for the assignments API is generally available. So it's now on V1.
Nice.
I would say one of my favorite GA features since a long time. Especially when we work with large organizations that are receiving tons and tons and tons of data in Microsoft Graph. Microsoft Graph infrastructure protects the graph in itself using throttling, right? And I'm pretty sure you've received a ton of 429s in the past where service says, hey, can you retry after a couple of seconds because I'm too busy to serve your request. one of the ways we have started to shift away from throttling, or to help developers be less impacted by throttling, is to deliver a lot of the Microsoft Graph data through change notifications, so webhooks. So sending webhooks notifications, you receive them, you acknowledge, you process them, and you do whatever you want with the data. Now we even have the ability, that's what was GA a month ago, is you can receive graph change notifications straight through the Azure Event Hubs.
Yes.
So it's straight into your data pipeline. You can do whatever you want. You can hook up anything. I did a super cool demo last week of hooking it up with like a Logic app, and then do all it like no code, just like drag and drop these boxes on my designer, and basically build an app that was taking data from Graph and storing it in a SQL database for Power BI reporting in the end.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
Nice.
Really cool stuff. No need to code.
I think
simple.
I think the important bit for this one is that you do not need to verify the API endpoint, right?
Exactly.
Which is the major difference.
Exactly. Here, it just, because everything happens like under the cover within Azure, we know that the handshake was correct, and that we have everything and it works. So that's great. You still need to renew your subscription to some of these change notifications, especially if you're doing Teams. Teams is a very, very short-lived notification time span. So you have like 60 minutes worth of notifications when you subscribe. So you need to subscribe like very often. But besides that, amazing capability. It's super, super, super easy to hook up, and documentation is great in there. So great job to our team that actually delivered that, and it's an amazing capability.
Can I ask why we're expiring the subscriptions so frequently? Is it a security feature?
It is a security feature, because now the beauty of change notification, since a couple of months now, some of the resources support including the data as part of the change notification. So not just you get the notification that something changed, but you actually get what changed and the actual data. So you receive, for instance, all the team messages for the entire tenant as a fire hose inside your event hub, and then you need to decrypt all of these. So I think it's for a security purpose, and also because of the amount of data that is being sent. We're working with partners that are receiving millions of new Teams messages on a daily basis. So just to make sure that the service is not choking just for the fun of it, we're making them super short-lived. Some are super long, like the user one is a 3-day thing. SharePoint is 30 days. It really depends on the endpoint. Everything is documented in our stuff when you need to subscribe. And we actually now send you notification that you need to subscribe to, that your notification was removed, so then you can resubscribe to it. So there's a full pipeline of that.
So when you do that subscription, can you backdate a subscription? So like, say I got a notification that my subscription had expired at 12:07 p.m. Can I start my next one at 12:07 even though I may be sending the request at like 12:09?
No, you cannot. But the service will be waiting for a couple of minutes to make sure that because when the subscription actually expires, the service knows about it, and it queues all these notifications. It's going to wait for a couple of minutes before you have it. So you don't need to backdate it, but they're all going to be retried on your new subscription, basically.
Okay, that's cool. So you wouldn't lose data, essentially, right?
Exactly, and there's a full pattern on that, how to get the missing notifications in your app.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's cool. Yeah, Event Hubs is awesome. I love Event Hubs. One of my favorites. So
it is really, really cool, and it simplifies like a lot of things. I'm very lazy and I love to click, so it makes all of this so much easier.
Hey,
well, I think
lazy is efficient, my friend.
The durability of it. I mean, just the fact that it is durable. That's, I mean, you know, if I write some bad code or have a bad push in my notification handler, the thing that's parsing all my messages, being able to go back and read that journal again is is pretty important, especially too. Like if I've got multiple consumers that are going to do different things with the data too, like being able to just read one line or read one pipe over and over again with different processors, as opposed to having to do that myself, for example. That's a big advantage. So it's awesome.
It is definitely so. We had like the HTTP webhooks for a long time now, GA with Azure Event Hubs. That's pretty cool. Combined to this, we now have change notifications for Microsoft Team messages. Oh. So if you want to start listening to team messages to act upon or to do whatever you want with that data, you can now receive these change notifications. So that contains one-to-one group chats and channel messages. So all of them are now supported. Super easy to put in place. So like go in if you have any need there, just enjoy and start listening to those, and they will be able to be added to the
so do those Teams ones work with like resource specific consent, so that it's just like one team or one chat or whatever?
Not for subscription.
Okay.
Yes, you can have the API driven by RSC, so resource specific consent, but notifications are either at the tenant level, so you receive the entire fire hose of everything, or you would do it at the RSC level, where you say, I want to have this specific team, but you would not receive just notifications for that. You're going to be able to like read the data, use the API, but not for notifications. Not yet.
I see. Okay, cool.
Another thing, really cool, there's new chat APIs also in Teams. A lot of new improvement on the Teams side of the house, knowing that Teams is pretty kind of a graph-only API, so there's no equivalent in other spaces. So now you can create APIs, you can create chats, manage the membership of chats. You can even have a bunch of apps and tabs in chats that you can use with the API. So basically now we really covered the gap that chats had. So now it's all available. It's all in preview, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's actually in V1. In V1, so lots of new capabilities right there. Lots of partners were requesting that to create chats based on topics, based on opportunities, based on whatever they were working with. So now it's all managed through the Teams API and the Chat API. Talking about chat,
that gets us closer to building our own Teams client, right?
Absolutely.
Like if we wanted to build a fast one, like an assembly or something.
An IRC. That's what we're going to do.
That's right. We're going to build an IRC head for Teams.
Yes.
There we go. But yeah, it's exactly one of the, I wouldn't say to replace Teams, but it's really from different apps to really consume and add data there. And yes, it would allow you to build your own Teams client.
That's what we're building on the next stream, JP. Our IRC client for fast communication.
I just want chat. I don't need meetings or any of that. Just straight up chat.
Emojis. We need to support emojis.
Well, sure.
Is it? Where do I have? Actually, we have it here. There's one that talks about like rich content.
Do not rewrite Teams, please, using this API. Disclosure at the bottom. We made it public, but please don't use it.
No, let us do it instead. I still want to work. And Sebastian, you need to help me with my Teams meeting add-in so that I can do my word quota plugin, because I'm really, especially the meetings I've been in the past few weeks, I really want to get to work on it. And I'm thinking all you got to do is like push it. You push it. So you put. Can you get transcription? Can you get the live transcription in an API for a meeting?
Not right now. Not live.
Can you get the
audio? Do you have access to the current audio? Yes, you do actually.
So I can take the audio, push it through cognitive services to get do text analytics or to get speech, and then do a word count on that. And then when a user hits their quota, just hang them up.
Or mute them.
Can you mute them through the API?
You can mute them through the API. I'll have to double check on that. but I think you actually can, because there are some bots that we've seen that are actually doing that.
Yeah, see, once you hit your word count, sorry, man, game over.
And
Put
a
little
message.
counter in the corner.
And a message, right? You've been.
But are you sure you really want to say this? Do you really want to talk about this for the 30th time? Or even better, you've brought this topic up 19 times with this group of people before. Maybe you should skip it so you have words left over at the end. It's only Tuesday. Slow down, champ. I mean, whatever. There's all sorts of fun stuff you do with it.
You should also like hook on the reaction. So if there's like a like or a thumbs up or a heart, then you get like extra quota, like 100 new words.
There you go.
Yes.
See,
nice.
There you go. Yeah.
Gamify your meetings from now on. Like everybody will be like.
It's like that movie. What was that movie? That movie In Time, where they all had time
exactly
on their arms.
Yeah.
So that's what you have for Teams meetings. I mean, think about how much more productive we would be. Because like I could just get into a meeting with Christos and we could burn both of our word quotas in like an hour for the week, and then we couldn't go to any more meetings. Like, sorry, man, word quota, we already hit it for the week. Can't come. Sorry, you have to reschedule for next week.
You should have like a quota as a different level in the org. Like you have quota at my org at like END and everything like
that. The higher up you go, the lower the quota.
Exactly. You have 25 words when you get to Satya. That's it. So don't say hum. It's like 2 words. You're done.
Yeah, perfect. Problem solved.
So let's say you wanted to bring your chat from another platform to Teams because you really want to use your app or whatever. Now we have APIs meant for creating teams and channels back in time. So let's say you want to move in from Slack, or you want to move in from Discord, or whatsoever you want to move it to Team. Now you can actually do that. So that was a huge request for customers that wanted to onboard onto Teams but didn't want to lose their archive of discussion. So now pushing that in preview there.
So I wonder too. So you can import old ones. So cool, we got that, and then we got the new chat APIs. So in theory, like if I wanted to have say I wanted to have a community, like a public community, but I didn't want people to download Teams because why would I ask them to do that? Or because they've already got it, they don't want to sign in again or whatever, right? So you could have like the 425 show Discord, which everybody should join, by the way. Like we could plug that into Teams so that folks who we work with here could see and talk to folks in the Discord without actually being in the Discord. And it would get around all of the GIF content filters that we have that keep all the good GIFs out of Teams.
I don't know if you're going to be able to import. I don't know if it's a good idea, but I think that would actually be doable. I don't know how that would play out with like the terms and conditions of Teams. But
nobody reads those anyway.
Yes. But yes, you could actually be able to read all the messages, send them there, and then afterwards re-import the replies. And you might run into some conflicts at some point, but yes, 100% possible there. Actually, what you could
kind of like a proxy. I mean, think too, like, so people know who we are because we go out and stick our faces on the internet every week. But there are a lot of people internally who maybe they don't want to share their email addresses or whatever because they don't want to necessarily be like known for a certain thing because then they'll get inundated or whatever. It'd be a great way for people, and you think in other organizations too, that kind of like a public proxy so that somebody can interact with you and get that chat, like that kind of rich experience of chatting with somebody live, but not necessarily knowing who they are, like keeping some anonymity.
Or even knowing who they are, but not like any personal info, like name and last name, and that's it.
Exactly.
Like no emails, no...
Yep.
This
is the future of Teams B2B, I think.
Well, this is what they're doing right now in the healthcare segment. Like, you can actually have an appointment and run a Teams meeting. Well, it's not a Teams meeting, but it's a cloud communication meeting running on the Teams platform where you can chat and have video and audio with a doctor, where you don't have any of that information, but you're using the same infrastructure as Teams is using. So it's one of the APIs that it actually sits on top of Microsoft Graph, the cloud communication API.
Cool.
Now,
Sweet.
Wow, I clicked on something. Yeah, what the hell is happening? Give me 1 second. It
I'm
looks like
pressing
I
buttons, but I don't know what's happening.
exactly. Something really cool that was released also is a GA of our Teams activity feed. So the notifications in Teams are now available for everybody to use to push notifications to people straight in Teams. I think that was very, very requested by people that are building Teams apps to be able to have that very annoying bell sound when to keep you awake when you're working. The beauty here is it integrates nicely with the Teams activity feed settings. So if you want to turn them off, you can. So that's now available. And here, yeah, now you're going to be able to list what they call hosted content. So it's images, documents, GIFs,
Perfect.
stickers if you're using them. But that's going to get you to be able to finish your Discord to Teams bot that you're going to start building on the next stream, right?
Fuel Snubble saying, I
Yeah.
love annoying notifications. Why not?
I think the name of our Discord proxy bot should be called Sebastian. It'd be a great name for it.
Ooh,
You can use my face if you want. I have some.
Is it an NFT? Is it an NFT? Do you need do we pay royalties and stuff?
Oh my god. Now you've said it. You've said the magic word. Now the chat's going to get inundated with anime avatars from Twitter.
Why not?
That would be great if
Yes, exactly. Thank you. That's what
I'm gonna look into that.
Would be awesome.
Yeah,
Would be awesome.
that could be an NFT. Anyway,
I
not
could be
yet.
an NFT. When I grow up, I want to be an NFT.
Exactly. Like people in the kindergarten, like, what do you want to be when you're like when you're a tall guy, or after your school? I want to be an NFT. That's great. Wanted to quickly highlight 3 cool blog posts we did also on the Graph blog, which is part of our Graph mailbag series. One of them is getting started with Graph PowerShell SDK. So we have a fully automated PowerShell generation SDK that spits out PowerShell on every new capability that lives on Graph. So a good way to get started. Cool code and cool ways of getting there. So super simple to actually get it. Works on PowerShell on Windows, but works on Mac and Linux also. So if you're a PowerShell fan, definitely something to look into. Copy, moving files, folders in SharePoint Online. That's like lots of people are doing that, especially in the Microsoft 365 space. So how to do that? And here it's built on it's all the requests to make it happen. What's the logic behind copy and move of these files? And the last one is related to the activity feed we just discussed, is creating a Teams app that actually enables you to do it. So a couple of Graph calls you're going to see, and getting these really rich notifications in there. So 3 small blog posts, well, small, pretty great blog posts that are there on how to use Graph for multiple things that exist in the world. But now you'd like to learn about Graph, right? We all want to learn about Graph. Let me do that.
Yes, where do I go? What do I do?
Well, first, we had an amazing Learn Together event 3 weeks ago with our Cloud Advocate team. So we had a 2-hour-long live show of building apps with Microsoft Graph, and the entire event is right here on Channel 9. So it was 6 different smaller sessions, keynotes. We had it run on the APAC time frame and here in the Americas time zone, and amazing content that really helps you to go from 0 to like being able to have, kind of 0 to hero. And I wouldn't say hero, as the scenarios were still simple, but you're now able to have everything authenticated, a nice looking app, and from there you can definitely move on. So this URL, I'm going to add it in our chat here. If Christos, you want to send that, I don't know why I don't have the Twitch open. But this is a great resource to get you started, which actually led to a couple of other blog posts that we had around Explore Microsoft Graph for JavaScript dev that is available on Microsoft Learn.
Right.
How to develop apps with the Microsoft Graph Toolkit available on Microsoft Learn. So both of them, if you want to learn and really kind of put into some useful apps your skills with JavaScript and Graph, there you go. So both the Explore Graph with JavaScript and Graph Toolkit. We now have a challenge, a Graph Learn challenge.
Oh, bring it on.
Which ends in 1.5 days. So do it now.
Wait a minute. What do I get if I take part in the challenge?
There are like $100 gift card prices, and there's going to be 20 of them that are going to get raffled. So
do I qualify,
challenge.
Or is it non-Microsoft employees?
I don't know.
I think most of the competitions that we have are non-Microsoft employees. Plus,
there's right now 328 participants that did it.
Check that out. Sebastian is at the very top. I see Brian second.
I actually did it, and my name is not in there. So maybe Microsoft employees are not part of it. Yes. But honestly, do it. It's great. First, it's fun. It really brings you to understand Graph in a nice way. So do it. Challenge ends in 1 day, 14 hours, 26 minutes, and 42
You've been challenged. What's the URL for this one?
I added it to our private chat here. Let me...
Oh, yeah. I see it. Let me just dump it on the chat. And everybody can get it. Link. People are interested in participating. Bolt is the first of them. There you go, Bolt.
There you go.
You get knowledge and you might get a voucher. I mean, it's a win-win situation.
$100 gift card, man.
$100 gift card.
What would you buy?
A quantum computer.
$100.
a coil.
Yeah.
Too bad. A little coil somewhere. A piece of history. Man. Yeah. Quantum PCs. Will quantum PCs do Graph? I hope so.
Potentially, I guess.
All the APIs,
so.
All the states at the same time, right?
Yeah, exactly. That
would be insane.
That's gonna be crazy, man. We're gonna live in the future very soon.
I hope. I mean, quantum will be super exciting.
Yep.
Man, there's a lot of links here. We'll make sure that we put them on the YouTube channel. So if you are watching this offline and you're not live, then you can find all the links right below in the description. And I want to thank Sebastian for spending his morning with us.
More than welcome.
Awesome, as always. And we look forward to having you after Build. I'm sure you might have some announcements to do there, so I don't want to steal any thunders.
One or two.
So a lot of content, a lot of sessions. Make sure to subscribe, or so is it subscribe to Build? No, it's not. It's
register.
Register.
You need to register
for Build.
Exactly.
It's only 2 weeks away, so it's really exciting. And,
it is 2 weeks away. We're gonna have to figure out how to make it fit within the next 2 weeks. But yes, it's 2 weeks away.
And I'm taking some time off next week, so that doesn't really bode well with prepping for the biggest conference in Microsoft. But it's fine.
That's good enough. And I remember you have 1 day, 14 hours, and 24 minutes now. So get your hands dirty and dive into the challenge so you can buy one coil for your future quantum computer.
Of the new quantum machine. Righto. Thanks, Sebastian.
Sebastian, we're about to do a bunch of unnatural and awful things with Graph. Do you want to stick around?
I might want to stick around.
Ooh, okay. Well, you get real-time feedback if you want to stick around.
Hey, well, you can quickly learn how to use Graph Explorer with B2C.
I'm very curious on how you were you're actually using that right now. So I'm gonna stick, and I might ask some questions.
Hang on.
So last time not last time, but the time before last, Christos has been working on getting his B2C custom policy environment set up. And there are a couple things. We had our tenant set up. We got our directory ready to go. What we don't have now is we want to take in we want to. It's both tricks actually. Bolt. We're going to do the URL one because that one's the easier one. But there's also you can create a tenant user, like you can create a new admin and sign in that way, and it works too. So the the point now is we've got a user attribute, and a user attribute in B2C is essentially just a graph attribute on that user. So we need to update that value when a user gets created. So there are a couple ways we can do it. And since Christos is already in custom policy, we're going to have to do it in custom policy. And it'll be a lot of fun. So that's what we're going to do for the rest of the day. I don't know if fun is necessarily the right word.
Excitement in your voice. I love it.
Do it. Of work, we'll say.
Do it. We can do it. I mean, it's something that a lot of people want to do. So that's the reason why we're doing the stream. And then we will document it so people can go and do it end to end.
Yeah.
So we're doing it for you, for our audience. There you have it.
Yeah. So
it's all about you.
While you're getting that up, Christos, are you ready? Do you have your screen?
Born ready, man. Everything's set up. Good
so we here. So there's on a separate note, there was a ransomware attack on a pipeline, an oil pipeline over here on the East Coast. So this morning when I took the kids to school, I stopped to get gas because I needed gas.
Yes.
And the line was at all of the 6 gas stations in our little town. The line was all the way to the street.
Now, is it hyped up because they say that it might affect the distribution of gas, but
no, they said they won't be. They said they won't be back to normal until this weekend. So, what ended up happening, however, was I can't believe this, but what ended up happening, and this is why these sorts of things happen, is this. I'm going to put a picture up here for a sec, or I'll send you a link. You can go put this picture up.
Yep, send me the link.
This is what people are doing. And to be quite honest, I kind of hate these people. So, here's the link, Christos. Go pull this
CL
up.
Dubois is in the house. And
Hey, CL Dubois.
And he's shocked that he won't be able to get his petrol until the weekend.
So when I filled up this morning, it was $3.49 or $3.59. I don't remember. It was definitely a little bit more.
This one
definitely a
is
little bit more
here.
expensive.
There you go.
So look at this is what these idiots are doing.
Oh my
Look at these clowns. I mean, come on. And here's the thing I don't get. Who puts a gas can sideways in the back of their car? Because the thing is,
the idiots that fill them up.
I mean, you can look at these people. I guarantee you, one of them smokes, and they'll probably smoke in the car on the way home. Mm-hmm. And then all that fuel will be gone. Nothing else of value potentially would be lost, but all the gas that's in there will be gone. So anyway, this is what these idiots are doing, and this is why, my wife left to go went to go run errands, and she texted me and said she can't get gas anywhere because it's out. So she had to put premium in the minivan. So I wish that the van would get some benefit out of premium, but unfortunately it doesn't. So
you might get
a
bit more horsepower there. You never know.
There is a guy who has built a 1,001 horsepower Honda Odyssey.
Oh,
so that'll be,
God!
Yeah, that'll be next for. Hey,
your next mod.
I'm not.
That's what we're streaming next time.
Shaming. I'm not smoke shaming fuel because I smoke too. Because I live in South Carolina. I mean, I don't put gas cans sideways in my trunk because I'm not an idiot. But I smoke. I don't like smoking, but I do it. I need to quit because my kids are like, "Why do you take the garbage out 20 times a day, Daddy?" I'm like, I mean, you kids living here, I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, okay. So yeah, so it's a bit interesting around here because there's no fuel, and I thought about buying an electric car, but I don't know. Maybe I will one day. I don't know. Volvo has new electric cars. The Polestar 1 and 2. Yep. Those look pretty.
It looks nice, by the way.
It's amazing.
So,
what do you mean it's amazing? You have it, Sebastian?
I actually did a test drive of a Polestar. Yeah. I ended up buying something else because I don't know how rich you need to be to have any of these cars, but I ended up with a
conventional.
No, actually, no. I'm a full electric here, but it's a Hyundai Kona that I have that is fully electric.
I think there's a new model from Tesla coming out that's going to be what, $25,000 or something.
Yeah, we're far away from it though.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna take a long time before this even exists.
In production by
buddy.
2027. Buy, put a deposit down now.
Exactly. Like, give us your money right now. We're gonna make sure you're gonna get the value in like 25 years.
Put the money now so we can hire designers so we can start drawing this thing.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be. That's the thing about the Model 3. I thought it was supposed to be 35 grand, but all the ones I saw were like 55 grand. So I don't.
Because the base model only gives you very low mileage, right?
200. Yeah. It's a virtual model, right? It does not even exist here, especially here. So in Canada, we have that 13,000 credit when you buy an electric car. So they give you $13,000 when you do that, but the car needs to be. The entry price for the car needs to be $45,000 Canadian bucks.
Oh, wow.
So they have a model that is 200 kilometers, so like 150 miles, at $44,999, and then afterwards everything is above. So you can have so basically they just hack the system to get their car in, but that's why a bunch of people are buying Teslas these days because it becomes cheaper here in Canada. I don't know how it is.
I had a buddy bought a Model 3, and he let me go take a ride with him and let me drive it. It was pretty. I mean, it was certainly neat. I love like the enormous screen and all the cool stuff. But I don't know. I am super into like green stuff. Like we were looking at the solar roof thing from Tesla and all that, and we would need like 7 power walls or something. But I don't know. I am right now still pretty sold on a gas powered, at least one gas powered car. Probably because I'm old and I know how they work and I like that, even though I still don't really know how they work. But I don't know. I'm sure I'll end up with an electric car at some point. But I don't know. I mean, I got a big Volvo now that gets like really good gas mileage, so I'll take it. Station wagon.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So whatever, it works. CL Dubois has a Model Y. Isn't that the one with like the gull wing doors that pop up? That's pretty awesome.
Yep.
So, all right, one more thing before we move on. So F1 is back, of course, which makes the weekend so much more tolerable. So next year there's going to be a big that like 20 lap comeback over the weekend. That was amazing. But so next year they're going to be cost caps, 175 million cost cap.
Only 175 million on your car. You can't spend a penny more.
So I started looking. I started wondering, like, okay, well, what do they spend today? I couldn't believe it. If you had to guess, just what do you think Mercedes spends annually on their F1?
1.5 billion.
No. 750.
480 million.
Wow, so that's a third of the cost.
Yeah, so you think they're going to have to drop from nearly 500 million to 175 million? I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Third of the budget. Damn.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. That's going to be.
NASCAR has new cars out now too.
Yeah, they look good, right?
Yeah, I thought they looked good. It's
Are
funny
they all
that they
electric?
still call them.
Can you imagine? Forcing them to go all electric and NASCAR will be crazy.
Nope.
Revolution in the US because NASCAR has moved to electric.
I think. There's like Formula E is interesting to watch.
Yeah.
The sounds. I don't know if they add those sounds like in the broadcast or what, but the sounds are kind of weird, and I think they
artificial.
Sound weird.
Yeah.
Like they don't sound like. Maybe the cars do sound like that, but they sound very. They sound very strange. What is the? So wait a minute. What is the Tesla Model Y that CL Dubois has?
Well, let's find it.
So there's the 3, which is the little one. There's the X, which is the big one.
Oh, look at him! All fancy.
Is this the new one?
Stuff.
It's like the Model 3 of the X.
What?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's like a small SUV, like a crossover.
Exactly. Yeah, like a small crossover.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it 2-door or is that a 4 or a 5-door? Is that a 3-door or a 5-door?
It's a
5-door. That door at the back is tiny, by the way.
I see. So the X
Beautiful.
is the big sedan.
It's very nice.
The Y. Or wait a minute. So the X is the big sedan. The Y is the big SUV, and then the 3
No.
is the small sedan, and
So the S is the big. The S is the big sedan.
the S is the big sedan.
The X
and
is
X
the
is
big.
the going thing. Yeah.
Exactly. The flying
I'm with you.
flying car.
Yeah, nice. Well, my uncle worked at IBM for a long time, and he and a bunch of his buddies there, they all hacked their Priuses. So they get like 200 miles or something on their batteries. And he was telling me about it. It's like, it's a wonder none of you are dead. So, anyway. Okay.
Oh, really? That gives you
So,
much
Graph
confidence.
Explorer.
Graph Explorer.
So, here are a couple of things to remember about Graph, because you're going to need to remember these for the whole day. So, B2C users can't access Graph, right? A B2C user, you can't get a Graph token for a B2C user. So there's no sort of delegated permission for a B2C user, so somebody who's signing into B2C, for them to go and get a Graph token. Which means that if you are calling Graph, or if you need to work with Graph, you're going to have to do it in one of two ways. One way is the one that you're going to do the vast majority of the time, which is client credentials, which is essentially service principal. However, because B2C is bolted on top of Azure AD, because of that, you still have the option to add net new users that are not B2C users per se. They're just users that are authenticating via the Azure AD pipeline instead of B2C. You still have that available. And so the easiest way to do it is to create an admin user and then sign into Graph with that admin user, because that admin user is only going to exist in your B2C directory, right?
Yep.
And since we're accessing Graph underneath B2C, even though some of the elements are kind of exposed and some of the elements are shared, using that admin account, that secondary admin account, that's the easiest and fastest way.
So
Now,
back to BTC then.
regular watchers of this show will know that the easiest and fastest way isn't necessarily the way that we take. So if you're lazy like I am and forgot the password of your admin account or don't feel like logging in again, the alternative is open up your Graph Explorer. So when you click sign in, you're going to get a pop-up.
Yep.
Okay? So click sign in. And you'll notice in the URL, it's trying to sign you into common. So what you can do... So copy that URL out. Now, historically, you could just take this and put it into another tab and change the tenant, but that would never work. That stopped working in the past couple of days. So instead, go back to your pop-up window.
Okay.
And press F12.
Hack it. Hack.
Oh, it's too late. You clicked your.
I pressed something.
You got to sign out.
Sign out.
Don't sign out though. Like, just go back. The cache has been cleared, so just go back now. That's not.
Nope.
Not
You were
that-
quick enough.
not very
You were
clear
quick
on that.
enough.
Sign
All right, so
grab.
sign in.
F12 on this
F12.
one.
And copy that URL because you're going to need it.
I've already copied it.
It's a new URL because it's got a code challenge and verifier in it.
Yeah.
And then in your F12 tools, in your F12 tools, get to your console, and we're going to do a window.location equals.
Oh my god.
So we got a window.location equals that, but we're going to change the tenant in it first.
Yep.
I put in
Okay.
the right ID.
So
So
tenant
you
will
have
be
to-
my full tenant or tenant ID.
So instead of common, it'll be your tenant ID or your tenant name. 425show2.onmicrosoft.com. Yep.
So here, let's place that. Sebastian, close your eyes while this is taking place.
No, it's okay. It's not too bad.
No.
Oh, you just wait. We haven't gotten down into it just yet.
Right, enter that.
And press enter.
Here.
And it's gonna
enter.
reload.
Now get your pop-up back up.
Back to the pop-up, you mean?
Yeah, back to the pop-up. And now you'll
Oh,
notice
check
it's
that
got
out.
the right one. So now you can use your Microsoft account, for example, which is the admin of this because that's the account you used to create it. So now you can
This
use
is glorious.
that, and it's going to sign you in the other way. So security default, skip that, whatever. Nobody needs that. And then, yep, consent, accept, and now you're in
Check
a B2C
that
graph. Now you've got a
Okay.
B2C Graph Explorer.
God.
Yeah.
okay.
So go back to Graph Explorer, And if we look in the Graph Explorer, the name should show up as chmatsk_Microsoft #ext at 45. So now we're in 45 shows. So the fastest way to check that is to take the me out and just hit and type in organizations or organization and make sure that it's actually your directory. And there you go.
Tan tan tan.
There's the directory ID. There's the display name. And if it was your work directory, then there'd be a whole lot more data there.
Yeah.
So now we've got Graph Explorer up. So don't close this window.
Not closing this window.
And you have to do this and you have to do this every hour.
Bold says beautiful. Every hour because your token expires. Yeah.
Because your token's going to expire, and when it renews, it'll get it renews via Commons, so it's going to renew to Microsoft.com. But it won't change it in the UI, so you're sitting there and you're like, wait a minute, none of my calls are working, and then you realize why. So, okay.
Love it.
Okay. So let's go back to B2C. Now, did we
Quick
create
question,
a user
though.
attribute?
Question though, have you ever used the Microsoft Graph Postman collection that could save you all that work?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Just that you want to use the Graph Explorer here.
But Graph Explorer is super, super easy to use. Even with that, in some cases, it feels easier than Postman even, because in Postman you got to register an app, you got to copy stuff over. And
Absolutely. Agree.
It's just so exhausting. Not to mention, here's the big thing. Here's the biggest one, Sebastian, if you're ready. The biggest thing is that at work, my administrators at Microsoft have already consented to the most privileged permissions in Graph Explorer than they have not for my app. Thus, I can't get my app. I can't sign in to mine. So I just use the Graph Explorer ID in Postman or use Graph Explorer directly, because then somebody's already consented and I don't have to worry about not being able to get in.
Sure.
Problem solved, right?
Sure, yeah.
Life
all
finds
the permissions belong to us.
Okay. So have we created a user attribute
It's
yet?
called approved.
Okay. So we have a bool called approved. So in order to set that, we have to set it through Graph. Now, there's an alternate way to set it too via user flow, which we can also do, but with using something called ID token hint. We'll do that later. In most cases, at least from the customers that I've worked with on this, in most cases, it ends up being that, especially in this approval kind of a thing, there's some kind of like an admin portal or an email or something that happens that says, hey, user ABC just signed up. Do you approve or deny them? There's some kind of a workflow that happens, and usually it's out of band of whatever.
Okay.
So you're going to have some kind of like a web portal or administrative thing that lets you approve the user. And in most cases, that's what we see customers do, because it's like, well, if I need to approve this user, I might need to also do some extra work to onboard them or to record certain information about them or whatever.
Right.
And that usually happens somewhere else. So there's no sort of administration of that built in here. So imagine you're building a console app or a web app or some kind of a tool. It doesn't have to, it could be even something like a Logic app that's going to let you do this approval. So we need to set this bit through Graph.
Yes.
And we also want to include this when a user signs in so that the app knows whether or not they're approved. Or we could even let B2C say, oh, you're not approved. You can't even sign in.
Right.
So you can let B2C stop it, or you can let, or your app can make a decision based on that and say, okay, you're approved, so all you can do is see the status of your approval, for example, or you can resend the email for approval or something like that, and that's something your app would probably want to do. So the first thing...
Oh, check this out. Bold is saying that now you can do Graph Explorer and then pass the tenant, and that allows you to directly go to your tenant and sign in there. No more hacking through the console. Well done, Bold.
Nice.
That
worked that worked a while back, but I don't know if it still works.
It stopped working, and then he tried again, and it works, apparently.
Nice.
That's what he's saying.
I'm going to go try it, because now I'm kind of curious.
Not signing out. I'm leaving my graphics.
No. You don't need to do it. No, you shouldn't do it. All right, hang on.
I'm staying here.
Let me try.
Nice and safe.
All right, so if I sign out of Graph Explorer, if I go here with that tenant name in there and click sign in, oh look, it does. It has the tenant and the tenant ID in the sign in. Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nice. Thanks,
Yes.
Bolt.
Thanks,
So
Bolt.
that was a complete waste of time, but that's okay. At least you know the alternate ways to do it, I guess.
The more kosher way, I would say. Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So let's go back to Graph Explorer because we are going to need to find this attribute. So here's the thing about the attributes. They don't exist on a user if they haven't been set. So if we have not set this value yet, when we go pull a user, it's not going to show up at all. So what I like to do, at least to get an idea of what we're going to do with it, is either come in here and set one on a user, or I added as a user attribute a collect attribute. So a user can just type one in for dev because I don't want to have to go through all this.
Yep.
And then that way I'll know the name and makes it easier to deal with.
Right.
So the name, so change from V1 to beta and pull back me.
Me. What the hell?
Actually, pull back users because we don't want your admin user. We want a B2C user. So we got to do consent. So you need to do that.
Oh man, it's too zoomed in. Consent.
Not that one.
Not that one.
Well, fine.
Well, you
We
can
want-
do that one, but that's not going to be enough.
Yeah.
want
So
users
there's
read
user
all,
read,
right?
user read
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
What did I click before? See, I'm trigger happy.
Read
You
basic.
Read basic.
What?
So see, this is taking us back to common. So let's do this instead. Close this pop up, and let's do what Bolt did. Let's use the tenant equals. That
Yep.
should
Okay.
hopefully persist.
Let's do
So
that.
sign out.
Yeah. Just copying the URL. So sign out from here. And then don't do that. And then here we won't say 45, so 2. What's my on Microsoft.com? Yeah.
Okay. So now when you sign in, it should have the correct tenant in this URL, which it does, 6EC. So now we sign in.
Skip for now. MFA, do not skip MFA. So let's
So
go
now
back
let's
to beta and users, right?
So let's try to modify your permissions again. See if you can go back through consent.
Yep. Okay, so modify permissions. I love how you can modify permissions here, by the way.
And you might as well do read write all because we're going to need to write them as well.
Good point. There you go. No more hacking around.
Okay. So now when you pull back users, we should get our user list, and we do, which is great. You could probably zoom out some and collapse the sidebar if you want more room.
You know what? I'm
Or you
fully
could
zoomed
Do
out.
the click on expand.
You could,
Click on the
you
expand
could
button.
use,
Ta-da!
or you could use
What?
Postman, like Sebastian said.
Yep.
Postman collection. So anyway, so these are all the user properties that are on here. But if you scroll down and look, so this is your external user. You can tell
Yep.
by the ext and the username. So keep on going.
We want another user here.
And so here's an alternate user. So this
Yep.
is just this is a local account user. But if you scroll down, you'll notice there are no extension attributes in here. So none of the attribute that we created does not yet exist for this user because
Right.
we haven't set a value yet. So we need to set the value. So when we're setting the value through Graph, it's we have to have a little bit of extra information.
Okay.
So the name of it's going to be extension underscore the GUID of the app where the extension is stored underscore the name.
Okay.
Now, because we created this one in the portal,
IF, yeah. Oh, okay.
it's going to be the B2C extensions app ID.
Oh, yes.
Because that's where all that extra metadata gets stored.
We go the
So we
applications
can-
to find it?
So you can go to applications to get it, or you can set it as a user collectible property, and go create a new user and sign up and put it on there, and then it'll be written, and then you don't have to guess you don't have to concoct that thing yourself.
Do you set that in the identity framework, experience framework in IEF?
Just do the user flow.
Okay. A new user flow?
You just create a new one.
Nice.
So because the users are shared between B2C user flows and IEF, because they're shared, users can sign in either with IEF or with regular ones.
Right, okay. So, collectible attributes. Oh, check that out.
Yep. So collect it,
And return it, right?
and we can return it. That's fine. Yep.
And let's do email addresses. Then the provider. Okie dokie.
So now, when you go through this sign up flow and you sign up as a new user, we're going to be able to change that. Hey, Layla.
Oh,
hey.
hey.
Friends from Layla. Thanks for coming in.
Welcome, everyone.
What was going on over at Layla? What were you guys doing today?
What were you building? I know Layla is. She had somebody from the machine learning team, or machine learning SME. So I think they were
Nice.
doing machine learning stuff.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, let us know what you did, what you learned.
Snacks.
Was it fun?
Huh?
ML.net.
Snacks.
ML.net. We need to do some ML.net and identity stuff at some point. I know nothing about ML, so I'm probably gonna be the worst person ever. Right. Okay. So we have the policy, and just at this point, we're about to run this and see if we can collect it. So we're gonna register a new user, right?
Yeah. So we're going to register a new user.
Yeah. JWT.ms. So run the user flow. Oh, I need an actual user now.
You have to sign up.
Sign up. I need a new email. I'm gonna register you.
Oh God. Well, so there's a great tool called Mailinator, which is all just public email addresses, and I use that quite a bit because I don't have a bunch of email addresses to burn. So
Well, this is the only second one I have, so that's gonna be the last one I can burn. Yes.
here, so Sahil says that the YouTube stream isn't up, but I just went to YouTube and it looks like it is up, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Okay, so you've got your email address. You'll notice we also have approved down here.
Yes, we do.
And so we can set this here and then go turn it off on this flow. And that way we'll go look at this user and see, we can get the extension name that way.
False or 0 or what do we do? False?
Start with false, but there are very specific capitalization requirements for bools and IEF.
Okay.
It is a circus, I'm telling you. So
I'm gonna press it, see what happens. Dun, 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 dun,
because
dun, dun.
there are other cases where it needs to be all caps, and then other cases where it doesn't need to be. So it's kind of a mess. So
Token's back. New user,
approved.
yes.
So there's an extension approved. See, extension underscore approved.
Lovely.
Yep. So this is where, so this is how you're going to interact with this extension attribute in two places. One, this is how it's going to come in the claim, and B, or two, this is also where it's going to come in. This is how you're going to reference it in B2C itself.
I see.
Right.
Okay.
In IEF. However, in the graph, there's going to be an app ID stuck in between those names, and that's the one that we need. That's what we need if we're going to go interact with it in the graph.
So should I go to this user and find that ID, more or less? Is that,
You should.
Is that what we're doing? Okay,
You
so
should.
Users. Let's grab his ID. Subject is that. There you go. Run the query.
Oh.
Oh,
All right. So do you have
Click
your,
on
do you have
response.
your user?
where am I? Okay.
Okay. So if you look down, we will see extensions underscore blah, blah, blah. There it is. So we have extension underscore E8 blah, blah, blah. So this is how it's going to show up in Graph, and this is how we're going to have to interact with it. And so this will be consistent as long as that attribute is not deleted and recreated.
Yep.
This should stay the same. Now, and even if you do delete it and recreate it, it will probably still be the same because of how it's stored. But this GUID in the middle is going to be different per tenant.
Per tenant or per app?
Per tenant.
Per tenant.
Or if you were to save the extension elsewhere, if you were to create an extension on your own and save it underneath a different app ID, then it would also be different. But if you do it through the portal, this will map to the app ID or the object ID of the B2C extensions app.
Oh,
so the B2C, the B2C extensions app that's in your directory, the one that says that if you delete me, I will break. Which, so you should definitely not ever delete it. That is the one that that's the one that
I think it's down here, right?
Where that's stored.
There. No, it's not here.
It's called B2C dash extensions dash app.
Is that under applications legacy? No.
No, it's look under all apps instead of owned.
See, yes, damn, yeah, there you go.
Yep.
That one.
So see that E85, E85375C6. That ID.
Yep.
Without the dashes, however. So if you want to talk about like super specific domain knowledge, so yeah, so this is sort of the common pattern, which is you create your attributes in the portal, and they're available for both user flows and IEF. But you can also store them separately, so you don't have to store them one or the other. But anyway, okay, so copy that name because we're going to be using that name quite a bit today.
Copy that name. Copy about copying the name.
So now let's go get your other user. And if we want to set this on another user, or if we wanted to update this one, then we're just going to patch the user.
I see. So users response review. Why is it defaulting to a stupid thing? Okay. And I hate it. Hide them. Okay, so we want to go to the Outlook one, right? The one that we created the first time. So this one, that's the ID.
Yep. So that's the user's ID, yep.
Yeah.
And of course, that'll be the OID of that user in the token. So you'll have that in the ticket that gets created. No, that's actually I think that's your administrator account.
Yeah, you're right. So down here.
I don't think we want that one.
Nope. You're right.
We want a different one.
That was too fast. That one.
Yep.
There. Here.
Yep. So this user.
And then we want to do a patch on this one, right?
Yep. And all you need is the extension value in there.
I see. Set to true, right?
Or whatever you want it to be set to.
Aha. There. Click, click. Bug. Do I need quotes around? No, I don't need quotes around false. Run it.
Yep.
Is that gonna run against the?
No.
No.
Okay, so good. So now if you go pull that user again, if you do a get on that user, we should see that it has been set. So 204 means...
Let's go all the way down. All the way down.
And there it is. Extension E80.
That out.
E53.
Love it.
So when you're in your app, and we want to do this, because there's no concept of like graph delegated permissions, because we don't have any of that, you essentially almost always end up doing this with client credentials.
Right.
It's possible that maybe you let an admin sign in, but the admin cannot sign in via a B2C user flow. They need to sign in via the Azure AD normal endpoints, like not the B2C one. So you'd have to sign in as if you were signing into a normal Azure AD directory. Which of course it gets incredibly confusing very quickly because you've got different endpoints and whatever. So what we normally see is customers use service principals for client credentials to do this.
And we can create a service principal inside B2C to do that?
Well, you create a service principal in Azure AD. So the service principal is underneath. It lives in the Azure AD underneath because there is no there's no client credential flow for B2C either. So because the application
here,
lists
right?
are unified.
So
yeah,
within
because
the same
app
tenant.
lists are in the same tenant, correct.
Yes.
Because the app lists are unified, the apps that show up in B2C and the apps that show up in Azure AD are the same. So you can register the admin app wherever you want,
Yeah.
but it's fine to do it here. So do a new registration, and we'll
Okay.
get some client credentials here. You can call it, I don't know, approval app or whatever.
Yeah.
And then for this, we just want to do single tenant.
Yep. And what do we want to make it?
I think you're right. I think you're right, Carter Barnes. I think you may be the only one on YouTube. So everyone's over here on Twitch. So come on over and hang out.
So that should be desktop app, right? Console? Is that what we're going for?
Nah, we can just use Postman or whatever.
Okay.
So I would just do a web
I will
app
ignore that.
and
Yeah, register.
localhost.
Postman. Okay. And then secrets. Creating new secrets. Blah blah. Doesn't matter. Hey, come on. No judgment. Do not use.
I haven't said anything.
Do not dox
I would say you should delete this secret very quickly after the show because it's going to be super privileged.
Yeah. Okay, we'll delete that.
So
Have you
if
seen
we
my
go look
TikTok where I forget to delete that and I make fun of myself?
I have not seen that. Sorry. I don't have TikTok on my phone.
I don't get the support I need from my colleagues, you know?
I don't know if watching your TikToks would classify as support. Can I put that on my can I put that on my end of the year review?
It's moral support. I watched 3 hours of Christus's TikToks.
And now I go around shouting everywhere. I don't know what happened. Anyway,
follow me on TikTok if you
okay.
want to find some fun stuff. Right, okay. And still
So-
here.
So you need API permissions as well. So because this is going to be the secret, or because this is going to be the principle that we're going to do client credentials with, we need to do user rights here with this object.
Application.
So this is the one
permissions,
So we're going to need user.readWrite.all here
right?
at a minimum.
Is it users? No, it's user.
Just user. Yep.
God, we have too many user here. Okay. Read write all, correct?
Yep. Read write all. Because we're going to need to read all the users. We're going to need to write their approvals. And you will have to
the admin
consent.
consents. Do it twice.
So now,
Because you never know, right?
so now you've got. So now let's see. Bolt's gonna go out there and get you over 50,000 mal.
Let's see how many.
50,000 monthly active users. That would actually be a really cool parallel show. Would be we do this one here, and at the same time, Bolt is screaming
Hiking.
towards a PowerShell script to see how many users he can create before you remember to delete that secret. So, in fact, I might do that after the show, just for the sake of. I wonder if he's deleted his secret or not yet. So
I need a
at
graph.
this point-
I need a graph task for that.
So at this
Right,
point,
Sebastian?
we've got,
I can automate that with graph. Look through all the apps and delete all the secrets, and then all my demos will stop working.
Yeah, that's
Sure, you
thing.
could do that. Actually, I kind of wonder, like, it would be kind of nice to have, like, a register app script that just goes and deletes them at the end. It would be nice to...
You know what, JP? We're doing this, right? So we're doing this because we were working on a script to register apps and APIs, or API apps and client apps in one script, and maybe put a Jupyter book out there with .NET. We could do another book that says, hey, to keep you safe, let's go and delete all your secrets for that with another Jupyter book and have a collection of these.
Well, I do have the one from last week that does...
But
it's
that's too much
essentially-
effort, man. Changing the expiry time to today? Nah, I can't.
that's actually a great idea. We should do, like, Thrasman, but for Azure AD apps.
Well, delete everything, and then nothing works.
Yeah, it just goes and plows everything
None
over.
of our demos work.
So one thing that is quite troubling, which I'm actually exceedingly worried about right now,
Yeah.
I just went to my GitHub on a browser I'm not signed into, and it says I have a bunch of repos I haven't touched in a long time that were updated half an hour ago, 1 hour ago, 2 hours ago.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh no, what's happened?
Uh-oh.
Oh no, did I get hacked? Oh no, it's Dependabot. Okay, never mind. Sorry, it's the dependency. It's this dependency bot. Woo! That terrified me. Okay.
There
So
you go.
let me get the.
That new secret now is only valid for
Today.
today.
Actually, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a secret.
We do have
So we're going to use this. So if you want, we can do whatever you want. You want to do a web app? You want to do a if you want to do a web app, we can do that. If you want to do a console app, or whatever, we can do that too.
Let's do console. You know me, I'm a console
Okay.
person. Windows terminal.
Yes, it's 100% Dependabot. Cream Carter, thank you. But my stomach was somewhere down near my feet when I first went there to go look. I was like, oh my god, what's happened?
Well, you have
But
two-factor
at least-
authentication on your GitHub, right?
Well, I was worried maybe like a personal access token or
Oh, a
something.
pat.
had been-
Damn. Yeah.
And they're only on my machine, which means somebody would have been on my machine, which would have been even more troubling.
That is freakishly bad.
Yeah. So.
Got a new console. Name B2C approver. And then that's it.
Don't you need auth in
Auth?
there? Oh, I guess there is no auth switch
I
for
don't
console
think it
apps,
supports
is there?
clients.
Yeah, that's fine. Because you're not going to sign into the console app, so
Well, you still need MSAL, right?
Yeah.
you really don't need MSAL. You can have it if you want it, but you don't really need it
Oh,
here.
I see. Okay.
Because you're going to make the same request over and over again. Because it's client credentials, it's essentially username and password. I mean, client credentials is ROPC with more permissions at the end of the day. And because of that, you don't really need to cache them. I mean, you can to make it a little bit faster. So you could use MSAL if you wanted, but then you have to go wire up a cache and everything else. So it's up to you. Ultimately, you're going to make one HTTP call to go get a token, and you're going to make one HTTP call to graph to set a user.
Okay.
So at this point, B2C is essentially out of the game. B2C has nothing to do with this here. This is all straight up just regular old vanilla Azure AD and regular old graph. There's nothing special about it at this point. It's just that it happens to be pointed towards a B2C directory. But there's nothing else about it. So
Okay. What do you want here?
you're going to... so here, you're going to go to login.microsoftonline.com.
No, wait. Is that where we went? Login dot on Microsoft.
No, login.microsoftonline.com.
Sorry.
Yeah, you know what you could do? Just go to your Azure AD, which I think you still have up, and just go grab the token endpoint.
Oh, yes.
So that's all you need.
So here, endpoints.
Yep.
Perfect.
We just
token
need the token endpoint. So this is where we're going to go. We're going to post some data to it, and we're going to get a token back
To token endpoint or to login?
to the token endpoint.
See. Okay.
So we do have to make a little bit of a change. So we're not going to use a policy name because we're not authenticating via B2C. We're authenticating via Azure AD. So we don't need a policy name in there. So you can delete that path entirely. And instead of going to b2clogin.com, we're going to go to login.microsoftonline.com. And so this is going to bypass all the B2C stuff and log in directly to the Azure AD directory.
Wait. 45 Microsoft login.com, right?
Microsoft
No.
Online.
Login.microsoftonline.com. And no 425 show. 2.
And here, nothing.
No. Leave that. That's your tenant, but we don't need the one at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Okay. So we're going to make that, and we're going to post some data to it as xform URL encoded, or xwww form URL encoded, or whatever.
Wait, is that an HTTP message?
It is, I believe it's form content.
Oh,
You can, I
as a
believe you
client
can
header?
use. It's not a header. It's in the body
Okay.
because we're gonna post it. So you could create new string. Just you could do. I think. Just you could do new string content, or you could do new. You could also just do a string because we're gonna post it, so whatever. But
Stream
in
content
here,
or stream?
huh?
What do you want here? New
You can do string content. That's fine.
stream content or string content?
String content because that's what we're sending. So hang on, there are a couple questions. Bolt said you could use Graph SDK. You want to go use Graph SDK instead?
You want to use the Graph SDK?
I don't.
I am
but
surprised.
If you do, you're writing the code, so if you want to use it, by all means, go ahead.
No, let's keep it kosher. Let's do SDK, not SDK
Okay.
today. I'm gonna go with it.
And then Creama Carter has a question. Is there a succinct article somewhere for how both B2C and admin AAD accounts can access the same application and therefore have different permissions?
Ooh, that's a good question.
So, no, there's not an article anywhere about this. At least not yet. We could always go and we should probably write one. But when you say access the same application and therefore have different permissions, your application that you write would use B2C or Azure AD, generally speaking. It wouldn't use both at once. If it's using both at once, it's usually because there's a specific reason that you want to sign in users through a B2C context and through an Azure AD context. And the number of applications that do that, I would say, is fairly small. So typically you're going to use B2C or you're going to use Azure AD. If you go through Azure AD, because there is an Azure AD underneath B2C, if you're going to use Azure AD, you have to use a different endpoint, which is this login.microsoftonline.com endpoint, which is the normal Azure AD endpoint. That's going to have a specific issuer, which is login.microsoftonline.com. And if you had written an app for B2C, your B2C app wouldn't have any idea what login.microsoftonline.com is, because it's going to look for your directory name .b2clogin.com as the issuer. And so to your app, unless you've explicitly set it up twice, you're going to see it both. Or you're going to see one or the other. Let's see. B2C users can submit forms, but the forms need to be consumed by administrators. Should there be an internal application that can process the client input forms or data? So that's one option, which is essentially a shared data store, where some data leaves, say some data, our approval data, for example, in our case. I've got an application that's a B2C only app. And users fill out, a B2C user fills out a form, blah, 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 blah. That data gets sent somewhere. And then there's a separate application that's an Azure AD application that is reading that data and making decisions. Shared data store is one way to do it. An alternative would be have one B2C application and have your Azure Active Directory as an identity provider to B2C. At which point now, when say I work at the Azure AD place, I can go sign in with my Azure AD account through B2C to get down to the application. And yeah, it can be moved via Service Bus or Event Hub or whatever. That's totally fine. However you choose to do it, you would essentially just connect to that, whatever that service is, and move the data around. So shared storage is one way to keep them separate. However, using Azure AD as an identity provider to B2C would give you Azure AD users who are signing in with, say, work or school, and they would go through B2C, so your application would only know about B2C. The fact that they came through Azure AD would be available to you to know, but it's not going to change the configuration of your app. Your app may look and say, oh, well, this user came from Azure AD, thus I should give them a different permission or do something different with them because they signed in with Azure AD. But at the protocol level with OAuth and OpenID, it's still going to look like it's coming from B2C straight up. So I hope that helps. If not, please let us know, and we'll be happy to discuss it more. So Christos has gotten so bored he's taking a call. So
I'm getting a delivery of a rowing machine, so I need to make sure that I'm here, or they need to make sure I'm here. Sorry.
Are you gonna make more TikToks with your rowing machine?
No, I don't.
Can I watch you
TikToks, man.
Can I watch?
I can do a live stream if you want
to.
to. You can see me just puffing and huffing, trying to get back into some shape. I mean, if that's gonna be interesting, then let me know. I'll live stream my awful workouts. Me swearing at myself for getting older.
I mean, if you get up in the morning and do it, I'll get up and do it at the same time. I'll watch your TikTok to work out.
Check that out. Well, I can't do TikTok while streaming, but I can do YouTube streaming. I can do a live session on whatever, like Instagram.
No.
Or something.
TikTok is very specific here because TikTok is 60 seconds, and I could definitely do 60 seconds.
Oh, I see. But what if I squeeze my
can.
whole workout in 60 seconds? As in all the exercises going like a maniac.
You can survive anything for a minute, right?
Well, I don't know if you can do like I was doing battle ropes the other day, and oh my god,
I'm sorry, you're doing
ropes.
what?
Battle ropes.
What is a butler rope?
Battle rope. It's like these giant ropes that you hold, and you just wave your hands, and you try to make waves with them.
Oh yeah. Oh, cool.
They're called battle ropes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, and
why would they call them butler ropes?
Because you need them for battle. I don't know. I don't know where the name came from, but that's what they're called. And I went with the heavier ones.
But what does a butler have to do with ropes? Are you like pulling the butler along?
Battle, as in fighting. Battle. The battle of...
battle.
Whatever. Yeah, battle.
Oh, okay. Oh, it sounds like
my
you're
accent.
saying
Thank you.
butler. Oh, sorry. Okay, battle. I'm with you now. Sorry.
Well,
I missed that.
Crema Carter is asking, and yes, we are actually putting technical content on TikTok. So if you follow me, you'll find some fun stuff in there. I need the followers, man.
How many do you have right now?
317 as of this morning. It's going
We're
well.
not counting, right?
I'm not counting. No, I'm not counting. I'm not checking my app every 5 seconds.
Do you have like a counter on the wall? I think we should build
A live, yeah.
Put a counter up on the wall.
I could. 317. There you go. And it's proof, right? I'm not lying. Okay. So, what do you want?
Okay.
Next?
So anyway,
So, HTTP client needs a message handler. Did you know that? I thought you could pass.
Yeah, because I think no, you pass the URI to the post. I mean, you can pass like a base URI, but we don't need a base URI.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
So we need the URI, and then we're gonna have some data. So we're gonna have the data that we need to send. We've got like 4 or 5. We got 4 or 5 bits of data that we need to send. So the first one we need to send is client ID.
Yep.
So we're gonna need your app ID. I mean, this is just a regular regular client credentials flow. So nothing too wild here.
Okay.
A certificate or secret is expiring soon. If it only knew. So in the body, we're gonna have client ID equals client ID, or client underscore ID equals.
Where do you want that? In the string content?
That's where it's gonna be. It's gonna have to be part of your string content. Yep.
Okay. So client ID.
Client underscore ID equals the actual client ID.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Then we're gonna have the client secret.
Yeah. So that will be
ampersand. Yep.
Client underscore secret.
Yep. And then your client secret.
Consistency. I love it. Do not dox me.
And then we're gonna have another ampersand, and we're going to have grant underscore type.
Cool.
And that's going to be equal to client underscore credentials. Can you line break this a little bit?
We could.
Might make it a little bit easier to read.
Yes.
And then after grant type, we are going to need the scope.
Client credentials, right?
Yep. And then we're going to have scope, and the scope will be
users.read.all.
Don't read right.
You'll have to do default. So we'll have to do
yes.
HTTPS graph.microsoft.com/.default.
It's
Okay.
an application. Damn it.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Christos? Are you still there? Oh, he's back.
I'm
Okay.
here.
So we've got our scope. So we gotta get our string, multi-line string stuff sorted out here, but that's okay.
I remember.
I thought that was the VB way. I don't remember
Is it
how to-
VB?
Yeah.
How do you do multi-line strings in
Is
C#
it the
again?
at? If you put an
Is it
at
just
at the
at?
beginning of your
Is
string.
it at the top, at the beginning there?
There we go.
Ooh,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
you go.
There we go.
Ta-da! Thank you. Man, VB, where are you, my VB fellow developers?
It's been a while. Wow.
for
I
you.
learned
This
I
thing is
learned
for
to code
you.
on VB. First language I,
did
ever
too.
coded was VB. VB.net.
Me too.
But
Yeah.
Yep. Me.
Horrible
too.
stuff I wrote with VB.net. God.
I mean,
Okay.
I write horrible stuff with Azure or with C# today, so
Yeah.
no sweat there. Okay, so your string content. So this is all we're going to need. So you could probably put another. You could probably put a line break before your at. Just to make it easier to read. There we go. So we've got our client ID, we've got our client secret, we've got our client or our grant type, which is client credentials. Let me make sure that's the right parameter. Yeah, okay. Grant type, client credentials, and we've got our scope. So the only other thing we need in our string content is there's an extra parameter that's going to be our content type.
Okay.
So we'll need to set that.
In here, right?
Yeah. Comma. No. Sorry. This is a header. So this is our content type. It's not gonna be in the body.
Okay.
I think the string content thing is fairly decent at figuring that out, but I don't seem to remember. So we're just going to be really explicit and tell it what it is. So there's in our string content constructor. There's an overload that includes. It goes after the string content, however.
Yeah, encoding.
One more. So
Media
there
type.
we go. So our encode, we need the media type. Yep. And there are a bunch of media types in an enum, which may make it easier, but if not, we can just use
Ooh.
this.
Well, let's.
But that's fine too. I mean, that's essentially the same thing.
Okay.
I don't think you can do it without setting the encoding, so we
Encoding.
might as well go ahead and set UTF-8. System.text.encoding.utf8.
Cool. UTF-8.
Okay.
there you go.
Cool. So if you were to run this, well, and then of course we have to do a post async to this URL at the bottom, right? If this is all good, because we've already admin consented it, we've got our secret, our request looks good. If we've sent it over correctly, then we should get an access token for graph back.
Is it post?
Post.
Post.
To post.
Yeah, we're sending a body. Post async to this URL.
Yep, and then with the content.
Do we need a new URI
No,
or no?
string's fine. Yep. And then we'll need our content
Yep.
object. So while you've got this up, one thing to note for anyone who's, I guess, just joining us, note that even though this is a B2C directory, we are not going through a B2C user policy. We're going through the normal, we're going through a normal Azure AD login here. So this is completely divorced of B2C. There's nothing about it. There's nothing B2C related. There's nothing special about B2C in here. The only thing is that we're going to end up talking to a B2C user database. That's it. Okay. So we've got our thing. So in here, our result body should have one of the properties should be an access token.
Oh, content, right? Oh no.
Yep. Content read a string async. And it's gonna be a JSON body, so we probably want to We'll probably want to parse it.
Yeah. And then system.text.json.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. System.text.json. JSON serializer dot deserialize async, I believe.
System.text.json dot serializer, right?
JSON serializer.
Serializer dot
Yep. And
deserialize.
then there'll be a deserialize. Yep. And we'll get an object out of there. We could also we can create a type for it if we want, but we probably don't have to do all that.
Read the string async. What?
Semicolon. Why doesn't it like deserialize?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Um,
Return type of JSON. Is it maybe Omnisharp not catching up?
what are the other? Because it needs a type.
Just put an object for now.
And like Bolt,
Dynamic.
Like Bolt, just use dynamic. Yeah, like Bolt was saying, just use dynamic. I don't
How
think you.
dare you?
I don't think you'd have to do the cast that way. Well, you can just set it to set the variable type to dynamic.
Oh, dynamic.
Yeah, instead of var. It's the only time not using var is acceptable. And then.
Right.
All right. So when you run
no.
this, maybe
Doesn't
we.
like it.
I guess we do. We do need a type. There you go. Or you have to include the type in the thing. I've never had luck doing generic or having templates with dynamic in them. So, okay. So
And
anyway,
then we're assuming that it's an access token. So return serialized data.access token.
it's access underscore token, and it's all lowercase.
What?
Access
Oh,
underscore token.
Is it not going to convert the object into a .NET parameter? Are you sure?
I don't think it would.
Okay.
Why would it?
Why wouldn't
Isn't
it?
that the whole point of dynamic? So that should get us our token. Dynamic is it's essentially it's like a JavaScript object in .NET. It has no
Can be
type.
anything. Yeah.
It's of type dynamic. So there's some docs out there. Dynamics has been around for a while, but
Object. Yeah.
I don't really use dynamic too much. So, okay. And I don't think we're returning the right type yet.
Oh, we're not?
It's
because it's dynamic, right?
You'll have to two-string your access token.
Oh, right.
If you can.
Well, we can
Okay.
blow up, but we'll find out. What is not like here? Return type must be...
You have to return a task.
Sorry, yes. What the? Oh, yeah, okay.
System.threading, yeah.
Okay. And await this and fix the task here. Can't believe, remember
let's see
when
if
you
you-
couldn't do async on the main and you had to brute force the get result thing? Okay, ready to run?
So let's see if you get a token.
We'll get a token. Not even building, running it straight away.
Straight.
Straight.
We're not doing anything that's going to show us the thing.
Ooh.
There's not gonna definition for access token. What?
Yeah.
Huh. Stupid.
Well, my suspicion is that something failed here. So probably I would say wrap your body in a try or check, is success status code.
Oh,
And
you think that's what happened? Okay, right.
Could be anyway. You could just check for success status code too if you don't want to
On
do
the
all
results?
of yeah, if you don't want to do all the expense of
Well,
wrapping it in a try catch.
I know it's expensive, but for now, I'm just making it work, right? Ooh, I can't type. Okay.
Maybe console.write the exception
Exception.
message,
Yeah.
and maybe get the result status code,
Yeah.
and we can write that too, so we'll know what happened.
So be result dot status now. Oh, you know what?
Yeah, result has a status code in it.
Yeah, but it's not accessible here.
Oh yeah. So in the
Mm-hmm.
in the error, I believe.
H result? No.
No. Oh, hang on. I've got some stuff to do this. Hang on a sec. That's somewhere in here. I just don't remember what it is.
Hey, Alibaba PK. What's up?
You can also just check the status code before you're outside of the exception.
That's a good point. Nothing forbids us from putting console lines here. Result dot status codes. Wait.
Yeah, status code.
Status code. Oh, result dot ensure success status code.
You can ensure success. You could do a check on if success, result dot success status code or is success status code. I generally do is success status code and figure out what to do. So.
Okay,
Hi.
hello. All this effort for nothing. Did we get the token? Let's dump
Don't
it out.
know.
Let's dump
Oh,
it.
you're returning nothing. So
That's why. Oh, it was the
Yeah, those
serialization that was failing then. We got to this point.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily that the serialization was failing. It's more that if the call was failing and that data wasn't in there, that deserializing didn't happen. But we'll see. You could also just dump the whole chunk of the whole response and see what we got in the content. Just return the body or write the body to the console.
The whole
window
thing?
so we can
Just
see what we get. I wouldn't even worry about deserializing it yet. Let's just see what we
Okay.
got.
Console.write line, you want?
Sure. We just
Body?
need to see the content. Yeah, we'll just see the content that's in there.
Okay. What is not like this one? Unreachable code. Okay, because it will. Fine.
Because of the throw. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do this. There
Okay.
you go.
So we got a.
Token type bearer expires, blah blah. Access token,
Yep.
underscore access token. Oh, I think it's
Yep.
the serialization that's failing. Ooh. Cannot implicitly
So-
convert system.text.json element to string.
Oh yeah, so you got to do a. I guess you got to do a get value out of it. So in that,
So we
set
didn't
the
have- Wait a minute.
change the type on 47 to var.
Okay.
On 37, like
37.
instead of var, set that to dynamic,
All right.
and then see if you can't return that again.
Okay.
Return your serialized data dot access token.
Oh, okay. Let's see what happens on this one then. Nope. Still not liking
No,
it.
We'll just give up on dynamic.
Interesting.
JSON element.
Let's see if we can do dynamic in here. I mean, in Newtonsoft, sure. I've not done dynamic with system text JSON yet, so.
So what does it say? JSON element, right? Yeah. And which namespace? Okay. I thought it would. Oh no, we referenced that. Exactly. So we don't need that anymore since we already referenced it. And then what? JSON element here.
I don't think you actually need a type here.
Well, it doesn't let you do it without a type. That's annoying.
Let's
isn't it?
see.
Well, it says deserialize there without the so you're returning a dynamic, but it expects a string. No, we're not returning a dynamic. We're returning a. Serialize. Okay, so we have the JSON element, and then there'll be serialize dot get string, right? Get string.
JSON document is what you can parse it with JSON document instead of JSON element. I don't know if it'll cast to a or deserialize to a JSON element.
So,
JSON document dot parse is what will get you the a set of JSON elements out of the document.
right. So we have the serialized data will be it will be a JSON document. You say?
So we're not going to deserialize it because we don't have anything to deserialize it into. We don't have an object on our own. So instead, you do a JSON document.parse, and we can parse the string body itself, and then we'll just have a bunch of JSON elements that we can deal with.
Parse async or parse
Yep.
parse async.
Whichever. It's not a very big document, so.
Okay.
And then in there, here, now there we get our data, and then there's a root element. And in here, you get there's a get value or try get value, try get string.
Yep. Try get. Oh, doesn't have try get string.
Try get
string.
value, was it?
Has GUID, byte, property, single. What? Doesn't have string.
Property, sorry. Try
Property,
get
yeah.
property. There you go.
Then underscore access token underscore, right? Access underscore token.
Yep. And then that will need an out for like an out var for where it's going to go.
Yep. That will be access token, and we'll do var on this one, right? Go away.
You do out var, yeah. And
Yep.
then that's going to get you the element, and then you'll have then you'll have to take your access token object and try to get the value out of it. Get string. Yep. And then the name of the string, which is
Oh, it needs the name of the thing.
Or sorry, no, it doesn't. Never mind. We already did that on 39. Okay.
So return that.
And then
right?
return your
And
token.
return, yeah.
Can't even type. Save my life. Right.
And then delete. I guess you can delete 37. Don't write it to the console.
True.
And then write it to the console from your caller and see if we actually get it back.
Here.
Parsed.
Down here.
Well, I was
in your
just saying
main.
Do it from your.
Oh yeah.
Do it
yeah.
From the main, yeah.
Scroll down. Oh, okay.
Add it to the yellow world maybe instead.
Yeah, just replace hello world.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Save me some valuable strokes.
There you go.
Only took us an hour to write 5 lines of code. There you go. Hey.
There we go.
So you've got your access token, and so now you just have to do basically the same thing, but to graph instead.
Yeah, so the next method will be something like private static. Yeah, get approval status or something.
You got 10 minutes, so
Yeah,
so
I don't think we can do it
speedrun
now, but I can write. I can
Speedrun.
write the query and then send it to add it to the blog post.
Well, it's largely going to be the same thing. The difference is we're going to do your URI is going to be
the URI will
graph,
be different. Yeah.
and your string content is going to be a little bit different, but should be a little bit simpler than this one that we just did. You've got 10 TikToks left, Colt.
Speed run. I love speed runs. So that'll be https graph.microsoft.com.
BSD guy says his keyboard has 5 million key presses MTBF, so use them wisely.
Yeah, I know. Based on my lifespan.
That's pretty funny.
Then what do we need to send for the content?
Well, if we're just going to get the users,
Uh-huh.
like if you want to get approved users or get unapproved users, maybe that might be
Yes.
one. That might be one place to start.
Get
So we'll do
async.
So we'll do a get on users, and we're gonna have we're gonna add to our query.
So that would be.
So the graph URI is going to be graph.microsoft.com v1.0 users, and then we can put a filter on it.
I'm gonna copy it. Is it V1 or beta that we want to use?
V1's fine. Okay. Beta just brings back more properties, but
I had that. Users.
Well,
right?
you need a.
You're gonna need a V1 or beta.
Fine. V1.0. Thank you.
And then we'll do a filter on users that we can do a filter. So question, you need a question.
Yeah, question mark. Yeah. Then $sign.
So, yeah, and $. Although you don't need $, on the beta one, right? Is that right, Sebastian?
Yeah, exactly. I think we're gonna roll out all the properties, all the parameters won't need a $sign at some point.
Yeah. So it'll be.
We need
so
to get the property.
So you need that.
Name, right?
You need that name again. Yep.
Yeah.
And you can test the query in here if you want, which might be a little bit easier than doing it here. And test it to get it the way we want it in Graph Explorer.
So users, and then it will be question mark
$sign
filter equal
filter equals
no filter equals.
I hate that inconsistencies. Okay.
No string.
You don't
there.
need any quotes. Yeah,
No,
you
no
don't need any quotes.
Fine.
And then space, because everybody loves space in their URLs. Space EQ.
EQ.
Actually, so we kind of need to check two conditions. So we need to see if it's false, or we need to see if it doesn't exist. But let's start with EQ false. Because I don't know what the default value is.
Yep.
I don't know if it's going to see the default as that. So how many users do we have there? Just the
only
one.
has one.
Or,
which is
no,
Gmail
we've got
one?
two.
Oh, you have at least two, yeah.
What?
Okay, so do one more thing. So let's put a select at the end, and let's select the value for these and see. Because like in .NET, a bool and an uninitialized bool is false. So ampersand $.
Yep.
Select, and then we can do a select on we'll do display name, and ID, and this extension attribute. All right, run that. Let's see what we got.
Unknown.
Sebastian, you stayed with us the whole show. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I did.
So baller.
I did,
That's
and
awesome.
But it's fun to see how you guys are using that. That's great.
So we have an
false
unknown.
for both of them. Well, it's unknown. And
Because we've done two users, right?
Yeah.
Because we did the one when you signed up, and we did the one through Graph earlier. So we are not. It isn't picking up users where it is not set.
Yes.
So
is it null?
I wonder if we could try. Yeah, we could try null, or we could try where not true. NEQ true, right?
That would be good actually. I think.
Because
not equals true. NE, not NEQ.
Or NE. Sorry, NE true.
I think.
And then.
It's
unsupported property filter. Lame. Come on,
Fix
Sebastian.
Sebastian, next time you come.
I haven't done anything. Try the NEQ. I'm actually wondering now if it would be this.
Well, it does say unsupported.
No, that's so it was right.
So we can do equals, but we can't do not equals. What is that?
That's interesting.
So equals true.
Yeah, I don't know why that
equals
would be.
null, right?
It was null, yeah. You should be able to try. True will not. I don't think we have anyone true.
Unsupported or invalid query filter property extension.
Try something.
Your filter.
Try.
What's that?
I'm just curious. Go into your request headers.
Mm-hmm.
Add a key, which would be consistency level.
Underscore.
No, one word.
Yeah.
eventual.
Okay.
Add that there and add a count equals true in the query. So just before you do your filter,
Okay.
so to have not count equals true, and then you do and ampersand $sign. Just run the query now.
No.
Looks like this was not enough. That's something new that was added a while back for more advanced filtering.
I thought I'd read that those new ones were not available yet for B2C directories. Sadly.
That's possible.
So what's your current filter right now? Extension, what is it right now? Equals null. Okay.
So that will work.
This
is the graph query editor, Frank.
Yeah, Frank, there is no query editor. There's a great, well, in the URL, it's going to give you like the properties available for each entities and everything right there, but there's not like a query editor.
Can you also do another filter that says equals, well, we can't do not set or null, right?
I don't know if we can do, let's see. Graph query with multiple filters, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
We can do multiple filters.
Yeah, you can do an and.
We could do an and, I guess.
Yeah.
Or I guess we could do an or, right?
Yeah, you can.
So we do an or. Of course, I'm not sure how to say equal to null.
Not set or something, right? Is there a value that we can use? Equals.
Well, Bolt says to try beta. We could try beta too. That'd probably be a good one.
To the beta. Invalid filter close.
You go back to your filter. Yeah.
Equal false or.
Well, the null. It potentially because of the null that you have. Oh, there's a tick that is. Yeah, that's probably why. Again.
It's something with the null. Like I hit this when I was doing some other stuff. I don't remember. I seem to remember putting parentheses around null made it work, but I don't remember if that's
like
exactly what it is.
Interesting.
No, parentheses.
Sorry, parentheses.
But I don't.
Parentheses.
I don't remember.
That's a weird.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah,
what it is to filter
I actually
null.
don't even know. That's interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to look and see. But ultimately, yeah. So this will be the query. This is how we. So you'll notice we have to use the full name here in the query because we're in the GUID.
Yeah.
Or because we're in the graph. But if we were outside a graph, we would not have to do that. So like in your policy, when we want to pull this up and reference it, we don't have to have that long GUID there. Anyway, okay. Well, we'll pick this up next week. We got to go because it's 1:00. Where should we go? Any raid suggestions?
C# is currently streaming.
C# Fritz.
Yeah.
Let's see. Code Rush. I guess we'll go over to see what Jeff's doing. So we'll be back. We'll be back in a couple days. We'll try to wrap some of this stuff up. Tomorrow, our IT Pro friends are going to be here. I have no idea what they're doing their show on. Should we go to Code Rush? Yeah, let's go to Code Rush.
Code Rush.
So let's go over to Code Rush and see what he's working on.
I'm gonna take our friends from Microsoft Developer.
So come hang out with us. Join us on Discord. We will be back. IT Pro friends will be back here tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific. We will be back Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific, and we'll keep on cruising on this. Join the Discord. Ask us some questions. Bunch of. Ask your 12-year-old daughter for her TikTok account so you can go follow Christos. We will call the feds on your behalf. And we'll see y'all on Friday.
We'll see
Have
y'all
a great
Friday.
rest of your week.
Take it easy.
Cheers.
See you, everybody. Oh boy, that's funny. Oh, come on, Raid. Let's go. Come on, Raid. It's still raiding. It's still